October 10 Kyuubi attack. Minato Namikaze, 4th Hokage, the Yellow Flash, and many other names weren't scared of much in his life. After all, he was considered one of, if not the strongest to live with his mastery over the Hiraishin no Jutsu and him being the student of Gama-san in Jiraiya. But one thing he is scared of: his secret wife, who was currently in labor, swearing and cursing Minato out for impregnating her. Well, you can imagine how the man responded to this. That's right, chuckling sheepishly and telling her it's almost over, or crouching over and making a stick appear from thin air as he draws circles on the floor with a cloud and aura of depression covering him. But enough about Minato, let's talk about his wife and love of his life and soon to mother of his son. Her name is Hikari Uchiha, or as her enemies called her, the second coming of Madara, or her most common moniker, Akemi no Akuma, which, if you didn't guess why, is because of her mastery over her skills with and without the Sharingan, and funny enough she has experience with children, to be more precise her nephew Shisui Uchiha, or Shunshin no Shisui, for his mastery over both the Sharingan and Sunshine no Jutsu. Hikari grew up an orphan in the Uchiha compound as her parents died in a scuffle with some Iwanin. Luckily for Konoha, the eyes of her parents were destroyed during the scuffle. Now anyways, back to the story. Hikari is currently giving birth to her own and Minato's child, a little boy that they named Naruto, after Jiraiya's novel, Tales of a Gutsy Ninja. God damn it, Minato, when this is over, I'm getting you castrated, screamed, you guessed it, Hikari to her husband, who just shivered at the thought and whimpers slightly. You're almost there, Hikari-sama, said her midwife, who so happened to be Hiruzen Sarutobi's wife, Biwako Sarutobi. One more push and you'll be alright. Hikari just released a scream as she pushed, and then she panted. Not even 10 seconds later there were the cries of a newborn. Naruto had been delivered and he wanted everyone to know, to judge from the volume. Come to Kaa-chan, Naru-chan, said a tired Hikari as she reached for her son. As if knowing what she said, Naruto reached towards her, crying more. This made the other midwives all mutter and ah as the newborn reached for his mother. This made Hikari smile whilst Minato was looking up, muttering, "Is it alright for me to come out now, Biwako-sama?" In response, he got laughed and she said, "Yes, it's fine, Yondaime-sama, but mother always gets the first hold of her baby." She then moved Naruto into Hikari's arms. And surprisingly, Naruto's cries just halted as deep ocean blue eyes opened and stared into Hikari's onyx eyes before the baby burst out into giggles and reached for Hikari. Minato walked over to his wife and son and smiles, "I wish little Shisui was here to see his cousin." As Minato finished his sentence, the baby's eyes looked into his own as if remembering every detail before there was a baby-like giggles. Not long after the giggles faded, Naruto had fallen asleep, so Biwako wrapped him up and handed him back to Hikari. It all seemed perfect until there was an explosion on the other side of the village and then screams of villagers shouting about the Kyuubi. Minato's heart sank as that meant one thing: his best friend and the only other person he'd date if Hikari didn't work, Kushina Uzumaki, was attacked and possibly dead. As if on instinct, he tried to use Hiraishin to flash to Kushina, and when he did, he sighed in relief. She was alive, but barely. Minato knew he had to seal the Kyuubi but couldn't risk putting it back in Kushina as she'd be too weak. He picked her up and flashed her to where Hikari was and lay her on the spare bed in the hospital room. "Hikari, you know what I have to, don't you?" As if knowing what he'd ask, she nodded and pointed to Naruto in a cot beside her. "You better come back, Minato Namikaze, or I will tell the Shinigami-sama and Kami-sama that you're sleeping on the couch, and I promise they will know," Hikari said ominously as if daring him to die. Minato shuddered at the tone and kisses her head. "I'll try, my love," was all he said, and she gasped. "Promise me," she said as stern as she could. Minato just smiled and picked up Naruto as he looked at Kushina to see her stirring. "Kushina, we have to seal the Kyuubi," he said, and Kushina shot up. "Let's do this, the Bane," she exclaimed as if never losing her energy, and they flashed to the Kyuubi. Minato gathered a bit of nature chakra to turn it to normal chakra, and then flashed them away from the village. Once far enough away, Minato set up a barrier whilst Kushina used her Kongo Fusa to hold the Kyuubi down as Minato flashed through a familiar set of hand seals, making her gasp. "Minato, no," she exclaimed, but it was too late when Minato shouted Shiki Fujin and summoned the strongest of sealing methods after drawing the 8 tetragram seal on Naruto's stomach and summoning Jiro Tora Shinigami-sama. "Use my life force to seal the Kyuubi into my son." He waited for the Shinigami to nod when he continued, "All of it." Which shocked everyone, even the Shinigami, who again nodded and did the ritual, while sealing a bit of Minato's chakra to converse with Naruto about why he did it later on. With his remaining life force, Minato finished the seal with a fun and looked to Jiro Tora before nodding and placing the key on Jirotora's scroll-like body. "Give this to Naruto when Jiraiya-sensei deems him worthy of it, and tell Jiraiya-sensei I'm sorry." With that said, Jiro Tora vanished as Minato collapsed over Naruto and kissing his forehead. 30 seconds later. Hiruzen Sarutobi, Sandaime Hokage, the professor, the Kami no Shinobi, walked upon the scene and sighs, "Damn you, Minato. I'm already dying, why not allow me to do it?" he muttered as he walked over and saw a note which was written in Minato's handwriting, 1 to Hiruzen, 1 to Hikari, and finally 1 to Naruto for if anything happened to Hikari. He picked up his letter and read it before sighing and muttering, "I'm too old for this shit." He picked up baby Naruto and called for the Umbu. There were 4 that showed up: Inu, Nico, Karasu and Taki, or without their masks, in order: Kakashi Hatake, Yojao Izuki, Itaki Uchiha, and finally Shisui Uchiha. What seemed to be faster than Hiration to Hiruzen's tired eyes, the 4 were next to him. Taki was checking on Naruto. Inu was silent as he stared at his sensei, and the same with Nico and her sensei, and Karasu seemed to not be affected, but he was upset. He saw Minato as an uncle because he always gave him Pocky when he was off duty. Hiruzen handed Naruto to Taki. "You know who to take him to?" he asked, but it seemed like a statement. Taki nodded and vanished in smokeless sunshine. Inu snapped out of his stupor. "Sandaime-sama, what now?" Hiruzen looked at him and smiled sadly. "Summon the council. Just know the professor is going to be in office. Everything here is an SS ranked secret. No one is to know young Naruto is the jinchuriki, and to tell them is your death. Those here know, and so does his mother." As soon as Hiruzen finished his orders, the Umbu nodded and vanished in a swirl of leaves for Inu and Nico and crows for Karasu. Hiruzen used fire sunshine and appeared in his office. At the hospital with Hikari, Shisui, and Naruto. Shisui entered her room and removed his mask after placing Naruto back into the crib and smiling at his aunt, who woke up. "Hey Auntie Hikari," he said, and she smiled. "Shisui-chan. What are you doing here?" "I thought you were working," she replied, getting a groan from Shisui and a chuckle from Biwako, who stood next to Hikari. "Biwako-sama, and Hikari. Uncle Minato died." As he finished that, the room was deathly silent until Hikari growled, "Damn it, Minato, I warned you." She glared at the ceiling. "Kami-sama, Shinigami-sama, he is sleeping on the couch. Yeah, hear me, the couch. In the divine realm." "You heard her too, right, sis?" asked the Shinigami, who was shaking. "Who wouldn't? The wrath of a female is really scary." Kami did the only thing she could, just nodded as she looked to the Shinigami. "We don't wanna anger her, especially since she'll be coming here in a few years." With Hikari, Shisui, and Naruto. Shisui's sweat dropped at the way his aunt was acting whilst the baby in her arms giggled and clapped its hands, obviously amused by his mother's antics. Hikari smiled down at Naruto as his ocean blue orbs curiously gazed at her before he yawns and slowly closes his eye. Peacefully falling asleep with Hikari just stroking the black tuft of hair on his head. 3 years later. Running through the backyard of his house, we see Naruto Uchiha, son of the Yondaime Hokage, and Hikari Uchiha, although he doesn't know about his father yet. "Naruto Uchiha, get back here," came the voice of his mother, who chased after him, her whole outfit drenched in water. "Why?" Naruto just attacked her with water balloons. Naruto giggles and shouts back, "Never, Kaa-chan." but not before long he runs into someone and falls on his butt with an oomph before looking up. "Hey, what Shisui nii?" exclaimed a childish Naruto as he jumped up and cuddled Shisui. "Quick hide, Kaa-chan is angry." Shisui just chuckles as he cuddles Naruto and sees his aunt coming. "I got him, Aunt Hikari," which got a response of a gasp, then Naruto exclaiming "traitor," before his mother came up to him grinning. "Now come here you." She took Naruto from Shisui and tickled him while Shisui laughed at Naruto's misfortune. "I'll teach you for throwing water balloons at me," she said sweetly. Too sweetly, which sent shivers down both boys' spines. "And now Kaa-chan, we can talk about this." "Right?" asked a scared Naruto before he broke into a fit of giggles because Hikari was attacking him with tickles. "Kaa-chan. Stoop," exclaimed Naruto as he kept gasping for air and giggling more. Not long after that Hikari smirked and stopped. "Gonna stop using water balloons for target practice then?" Naruto nodded furiously and sighs softly as he looks at the chuckling Shisui with a glare. Yeah, laugh it up Shisui nii, I'll get you next time," Naruto said mysteriously, which made Shisui stop laughing. "Kaa-chan, when can I get the new book?" Naruto asked out of the blue. Hikari looked at him with a raised eyebrow. "Which one, Naru-chan?" Now this question made Shisui intrigued, and Naruto fumbled with his fingers as he muttered something. "Speak louder, Naru-chan." "Fuinjutsu." Naruto whispered loud enough for both of them to hear, which surprised them both. No Uchiha wanted to ever learn Fuinjutsu, sure they use it for scrolls but that's it. Naruto looked at Hikari. "I just like how they can make weights without having to have huge chunks of metal strapped to my legs. Like imagine how annoying that'd be to take them off and destroy the floor every time I didn't want to wear 'em." Now that explanation made Hikari smile before giggling and Shisui to outright explode with laughter. "Yes, it sounds better, Naru-chan, but you have to get your calligraphy better," Naruto nodded. "Can I have a calligraphy set for my birthday then?" Naruto asked with a small smile as Hikari nodded and kisses his head. "You remind me so much of the late Yondaime-sama, you know, Naru-chan." That comment from his mother made Naruto's eyes widen. Being compared to his favorite Hokage was like a dream come true, and he smiled more before asking, "How so, Kaa-chan?" which made Hikari smile in nostalgia and chuckle softly. "I and Yondaime-sama grew up together. He was always curious about how certain things worked and were always really fast on his feet. He even asked the matron who owned the orphanage he lived at for a calligraphy set when he unlocked his chakra." Hikari giggled softly before kissing Naruto's head. He even surprised her when his calligraphy was so good by making a seal after seeing it once in a Fuinjutsu book. People thought he had specialized to read seals and then recreate them like the Sharingan but for seals. Now that made Naruto laugh and smile before a determined look crossed his face. "I'll do it without a book then. I'll create a seal without a book," Naruto said, trying to one-up his father, the Yondaime, which made Hikari smile gently before picking him up. "Now how about we wait till your birthday then? We still have a week, remember, and I'm sure your Minato Oba-chan is coming over," she said, pretending to ponder over the thought, making Naruto bounce in his mother's arms, chanting about Minato Oba-chan, making Shisui smile and laugh softly. "We would have to send her an invitation first because she can't come without one," said Hikari, making Naruto freeze and look at him. "Mother. Quick, Kaa-chan, we gotta make one for Minato Oba-chan," shouted a frightened Naruto, making Hikari laugh and Shisui smile. "To think Naruto has such a kind heart for an Uchiha," thought Shisui, remembering when he was Naruto's age and smiling. "Let's go make Minato Oba's invitation, Naruto," shouted Shisui as Naruto nodded and ran towards the house. Shisui chased after him, making Hikari smile and sunshine to the house. Kaa-chan, how did you beat us home?" exclaimed a confused Naruto. "We left first." He scrunched his face up as he tried to think of how then it hit him. And he gasped, "You cheated and used Shunshin." Hikari giggled and picked Naruto up. "Naru-chan, we're shinobi, cheating is in our nature," she said as Naruto pouted, muttering about stupid sunshine and about learning Hiraishin before looking for some paper and a pen. Shisui nii, where did you put the paper and pens? Naruto shouts, still looking for it all. Shisui looks at him and hands him a pen. Here you go, Naruto. Naruto kept his hand out expectantly as he waited for the paper. I know you have it, Shisui nii, Naruto said, making Shisui deflate and hand him the paper. I wanted to prank you, he mumbled, making Naruto laugh and point at him, shouting about Baka and Ii-chan, before calming down and looking at the paper and then to his mom. Kaa-chan, can you teach me to write so I can write this? Naruto asked as he held the pen out to Hikari, who smiled and sat down at the table. Then Naruto sat on her lap and watched her write the letter inviting Minato to Naruto's birthday, and Naruto looked at it confused. What's it says? He asked quietly as Hikari chuckled. Does Naruto-chan want to learn how to read and write? Asked his mother as Naruto nodded shyly, getting a smile from Hikari. For the next week we'll teach Naruto-chan how to read and write, but first we gotta show Minato her invitation.